My name is TJ. I am a young person in long-term recovery. For me, that means I haven't had a drink or a drug since August 9th, 2016. I am here hosting the Recovery Matters podcast today with my friend Joe.
Hi, how are you, TJ? Thank you for having me. God bless on your recovery day.
Thank you.
I know it's got to mean so much to you inside, because I know 11/11/21 for me is a great day in history.
That's a pretty cool number.
It is. My name is Joe. I'm a person in recovery. I am a volunteer recovery coach here at CCAR. Very proud recovery coach, because I never thought recovery would be me and sitting in this seat. So thank you for having me, and I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, dude, that's so awesome.
It's good to have these feelings, you know?
So you said you're a volunteer recovery coach. What's that like?
What's that like? Interesting. I'm coming up on 3 years, so I'm still fairly new. I'm still a newcomer. I'm big into 12 steps, AA, NA, hence my necklace here, the AA. That's how I started. And I know we were briefly talking. AA was the start for me during prison to changing my ways and finding some type of structure and being serious about it. So I try to just help. I do my best. Use experience, strength, and hope for others. And every day I run into somebody different and just listen. CCAR has taught me actively listening, asking good questions, and knowing and managing your own shit, if you want to basically put it that way. Stuff is the legal term. The paperwork term.
Yeah. What's that like? Not letting yourself get in the way of their recovery, or not?
We say not to offer suggestions, but I guess at times we need to offer suggestions. I don't know. Meet the person where they're at. Sometimes, as I'm still in my journey, I'm still meeting myself where I'm at. Does that make any sense to you at all?
Yeah.
It
absolutely does.
Especially when I've been using since I was 14 years old.
Okay.
I never really developed properly, up here, even here physically, Yeah, maybe poundage-wise, 300 pounds. You got to throw a little humor in once in a while. But, yeah, it's really giving hope to somebody else that there is another way to live. And I live with integrity nowadays. And that was one thing I never had before. Showing up when I say I'm going to show up, doing what I say I'm going to do, is what I do today. And that's half the battle right there. And I'm clean. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it's just, I love meeting new people that I know. I used to sleep on that park bench. I was in that prison cell. And I changed. All because I changed my mindset. And I wanted to live. I know I was on a path to death. I had bullets with my name on it. There's no denying that. And sometimes it's hard to talk about. But, yeah.
I understand, for sure. So your early life, what was that like?
Family were all drinkers.
Okay.
I remember one person who didn't drink was my grandmother, Wanda. She was paranoid schizophrenic. And I ended up living with her when I was 16 years old. Stepfather was rough on me. Got kicked out the house.
From drinking and drugging?
No, because I bought a Camaro.
Nice.
My first car, 16, got my license, bought a Camaro. And that's been my thing for life, I love Camaros. I've owned about 15 of them.
Okay.
My own name, registered, all that stuff. And I was a car dealer as well. I'll get into that after. But so, yeah, I was exposed to drinking at a very young age, my whole life. First time I actually had my first drink was at my Aunt Janae's wedding. 8 years old. I was going around with this other little girl. He was like my partner in crime at this wedding. I'm 8 years old. My little tux, I think I had a little red tie on. My aunt still has it on VHS tape, matter of fact. For some of y'all who don't know VHS, I'm bringing it back a little bit. I was going around at the little champagne. I work at a restaurant. The little champagne glasses, the little small round ones, going around every table, whatever was left, taking them back. and my face would beat red. You know, that was my first taste of alcohol. But obviously, I don't remember that much far back. I just see the video and I hear from my family they thought it was hilarious.
Yeah.
Well, where I'm sitting now, it wasn't hilarious. So yeah, everybody was a drinker, cigarette smoker, maybe occasional marijuana, but I never really. My grandfather smoked. He lives in California, but never bothered me. So it was really the drinking, and my grandmother didn't drink because of her disease, and it was tough. You know, I'm glad I was there to be with her though. My early years were nice. Went to Catholic school. Always, you know, my mom was a CNA. My stepfather was a CNA. He came into my life when I was 8 years old, and it was nice because I didn't have my biological father, which today's date is 7/24/24.
Okay.
And my father, my biological father, passed away 7/26/07. He had this is a big reason why my disease took off from where it was. Is he committed suicide after he shot 2 people at a hotel.
Okay.
You know, and I never processed it properly.
How old were you when that happened?
I was 21-ish. I was working at the car dealership, you know, down the street from my house. I grew up in New Britain, Connecticut, and never really left New Britain. I'm born and raised there. I'm out of there now because I'm in recovery and I've made some big life changes. But yeah, it was difficult. And speaking of Camaros, I had an IROC Z, an 87 at the time, and when he passed, the police contacted me, the Bristol Police Department, and they said, we need you to come down to the station or wherever I had to go. I forgot, it was the morgue or something, to identify a body. I'm like, shit, it was my biological father. You know, I really didn't see him throughout the years as I was growing up with my stepfather and my mother before I went with my grandmother. And it was difficult because I really missed my father. You know, it was like that void. That void was missing because it was my biological father. And I remember the good times when he'd have custody of me, and I go on the weekends with him, and my little sister were 8 years apart. I really not much in contact nowadays, you know. Hopefully I can rectify that situation one of these days as I go through and make amends and stuff like that. But yeah, it was difficult. I cried uncontrollably, just sitting in the car in the driveway, like not knowing what to do. You know, I'm still a young man, you know. I've been going to the package store since I was 17 myself, you know. Don't tell me how it happened. I just walked in one day and I became my store. I suppressed everything by drinking, and that's how it started, you know. I started in high school. It was when I first experimented, and I loved it. Bottom line, love drinking. I love that feeling. And I've heard you say before that euphoria, that buzz thing that just brings out this personality, this beast inside, brings it out. You know, Fireball slogan, ignite the night. Yep. Ignite the whole day, man. Let's go. So yeah.
I mean, I think that's a big thing, right? So, you know, losing your father at a young age. So when I was 16, we were kind of talking a little bit before this and stuff like that. When I was 16, my grandmother was like my best friend. She always looked out for me. I think I was like one of the first like real grandchildren. My mom and my grandmother were really, really close. She took great care of me. Always babysitted us and all that. She had a stroke, and we didn't hear from her. She lived in the in-law apartment next door, and I went over there and I found her, and like, you know, she was gasping, and it was like, you know, traumatic event, and it already started dabbling at that point. So really similar to that, right? Like drugs and alcohol became the answer. Yeah. Right? And like what happens is, boom, we suppress everything, right? I got sober at 22, dude. I felt like I was 15. I was like, why am I like crying over this stupid movie, or like, why am I going through all these things, you know? And like, first time I was in prison, and like drugs and alcohol were taken from me. I remember grieving my grandmother. It's like, dude, she had been dead for years, right? And I'm like in this, you know, in prison, put my face down in a pillow, like crying over my grandmother passing away, and it's like we suppressed it. You know, I think it's a real experience. So you coming back around this time and being separated from alcohol, like, of course you have an emotional response.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that with me. You know what? It's funny though. It's not funny, but I lost a lot of people, and prison's a big part of my story.
Yep.
I got about 4 years with the state of Connecticut they got from me, and I gave to them, I should say. You know, and I'm lucky. It should or could have been more.
Yep.
With other things I didn't get in trouble for. You know, thank my higher power on that one. Also part of why I give back and do what I do.
Yep.
But I lost a lot of people in my 20s. I've been to more funerals than anybody in their 20s should go to. You
Yep.
know,
What's a part of the lifestyle?
that's true.
Mm-hmm.
Very true. You know, my uncle was like my best friend. He lived in California. I was talking about my grandfather. It's his father in San Jose.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a huge Raider fan. He's the one who got me into the Raiders. I know you're a Pittsburgh guy, and it's all right, man. You know? We're playing each other this year. I might go to that one, but
Nice.
he was an alcoholic too, but it wasn't like, this is when it wasn't really broadcast or talked about, you know. He
Yep.
passed away in 2010, right after my daughter was born, so too bad my daughter didn't really get to meet him, but he was a great man, you know. Big dude like me, 300 plus pound. Remember tossing the football, that was our thing. He would come to Connecticut once a year to come visit. As I got older in my late teens, I would go to Oakland. I would go to San Jose, and then we would go to Oakland Raider game.
Yeah.
That was the whole plan.
That's really cool.
I get there Thursday or Friday, drive down. It's like maybe an hour drive to Oakland from San Jose. Go catch the Raiders, the black hole, baby. You know, Gorilla. Just amazing, man. But used to go to all the bars where all the big mascots are, where all the gear and stuff from the black hole.
Yep.
You know, amazing. But we had a bond like no other.
Mm-hmm.
That one, he died while I was in prison.
That's awful.
My first prison stint. My little skid bit, I did 6 or 8 months.
Okay.
This is back in 2010. You know, went in for a violation of protective order.
Yep.
I had me and my wife at the time had an argument. You know, I think we were just boyfriend and girlfriend at the time. Nosy neighbors next door, windows open in the summer. You know.
Yep.
Domestic. Got called in for that. Boom. All right, whatever. Deal with the consequences. They had to take somebody, so they took me. You know, whatever case may be, I take responsibility. You know, I think I probably broke a glass or something. You know, I was an angry guy in addiction. Oh, was I drinking? Of course.
Yep.
You know, that was the biggest thing. And like I said, this is after the fact. You know, my father. So after that happened, I didn't notice it progressively was just getting stronger and stronger. You know, drinking every day. I used to be SoCo Joe. You know.
Okay.
So this is where I come and I say, you know, I went from being SoCo Joe to Big Joe Recovery. You know,
Nice.
As we'll get into that story. So I started off with Southern Comfort in high school.
Okay.
And then we had our own little clique. You know, there was a group of like 4 or 5 of us. We always hung out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we had Razzie Rob, and I was SoCo Joe. I had another guy, Steve SoCo. It was funny, but yeah, you know, that was when it was fun. Back in the high school days, you know, the experimenting days. Never thought I was going to turn into a full-blown alcoholic.
Mm-hmm.
Who would have thought that? Then it comes to a point where people that you know, you're dropping off your Facebook page and still don't even recognize what's going on. They don't talk to you no more.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I got so caught up in my addiction where I didn't try to engage with people more. Like I can come up to you and have a conversation with you here at CCAR or even outside of CCAR if I see it. I had to have that bottle first, you know? So I guess like we do it a lot of addicts do with alcohol and drugs. We graduate. Yeah, so I guess I graduated in the alcohol scale. Went from SoCo Joe to Blackberry Brandy because that's what my family drank. That's what I saw growing up. Blackberry Brandy, Coors Light, Bud Light, Budweiser. You know, beer wasn't enough for me, man. It was too filling.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get to the point. Let's do this, man. You know, and shot after shot after shot. And the hangovers, man. I don't miss none of that. Trust and believe.
So you continue drinking. You go to prison a couple of times. Similar kind of stuff, right? Bring me to that last day. When did you know, or when did you become willing enough to do whatever it took to stay sober?
The surrender?
The surrender. Bring me to the surrender.
To the surrender.
That's my favorite part of hearing people's stories, by the way.
Oh, I can imagine. Because it's the start of a new life.
Yes.
A new beginning.
It's the rebirth.
The rebirth. It's funny, I go to a church, Nuevo Comienzo. I'm half Spanish. I'm Polish Puerto Rican, so I'm a Puerto Rican. To Britain, go figure.
Yeah.
Broad Street, Arch Street, there you go. My clean date is 11/11/21.
Okay.
So 11/10 was Veterans Day. I go to jail. Police knock on my door. I was about to lose that apartment anyways. Everything was going back downhill again. Losing everything for the 4th time. This is my 4th time going to prison.
Yep.
If I say 3 times a charm, no. For me, 4 times a charm. It's disappointing my daughter, Natalie. She's the greatest gift in this world that I have. That's my motivation, my inspiration to stay clean. And I do whatever it takes to do that. I broke my promise to my little girl. She was 11 at the time. I said I'd never go back to prison. I was already divorced from her mother. We got divorced in 2018. And I saw what I did with my father, the visitation on the weekends. It just hurt, man. It hurt.
You knew you didn't want to live like that.
Yeah.
You knew it.
Sporadically seeing her when I was semi-okay, not too drunk. My ex-wife knew. She knew. That's why she divorced me.
Yep.
I'm an alcoholic. I loved cocaine. I got into cocaine heavy, too. I was pretty good at hiding that. Well, at least I thought I was. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think we all think that, right?
Yeah.
So that surrender, I said, when I went to COVID was just happening, and I get into prison. It's in that like an 8-man cell. What do you call that? Quarantine unit.
Yep.
Yeah, quarantine when you first get into jail.
Yes.
Because during that time they want to make sure you weren't sick before they put you off to whatever dorm you're gonna go. In what case, I was fortunate to just barely make the dorm cutoff with my bond. It was like $200,000 or something like that. And some dude was brewing up a little small batch of Pruno. It can't be that fermented because it's during quarantine. He was there like 7 days before me. So I know what this Pruno shit is, and it's disgusting. It's nasty. And I finally I said, all right, this is it. Because I made a decision when I was going to jail in that paddy wagon. I got to do something. I'm 35 years old. I got to do something if I'm not going to break my daughter's heart, which I already did, and I was devastated by that. I didn't know how to respond when I eventually would get out of jail. How's she going to be with me? So that surrender was just amazing. It was the focus. Mike Tyson said, you have to train your mind to be stronger than your feelings. And he's one of many guys who said that, but that one sticks with me. It's Iron Mike,
Yeah.
And yeah, so I started with my mind. I got a Bible the first week I was there. Let me get back in touch with God. I lost touch with him. I used to go to Catholic school when I was a kid, middle school, St. Francis of Assisi in New Britain. And I learned some stuff there. I learned to kind of find God my way. I still really didn't know what God was. And now I know he's still on my side. I don't know how he's on SoCo Joe's side, but that's the old life. Now it's Big Joe Recovery, and I see why he's with me now. To do some service work, to give back. But that initial surrender was, let me find another way to live.
Yep.
Started there, and then I found AA in prison. I tried AA, just go to a meeting here and there, but I was under the influence. And it's funny, my buddy Steve was the chairperson at this meeting I stopped at, and I'm drinking there. I'm like, oh man, here we go, fucked up off the rip already. But I just wanted to see what it was about, I wasn't ready. When I went to jail, I was ready that last time.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm never looking back. Look what I found. I started with AA. That's how I started learning the 12 steps, the proper way. Start reading on them, working them. Didn't have a sponsor. I'm in prison, so that's a little difficult. And I wasn't going to be there forever. It was 18-month stint, so a year and a half of my life. And getting my ground game, my structure, be prepared, write.
Mm-hmm.
So this is another big thing, my journal. So I started writing in prison. It's a gratitude journal. Everything I'm grateful for. Some days it's simple as the air I breathe, my daughter always, my mom, she's huge in my life, and she's going through a struggle now in a rehab facility, not for drug and alcohol, but she's recovering from physical illnesses and just, so she's recovering her own way too. And she was a big drinking partner of mine at one time.
Mm-hmm.
And to see her see me flourishing in recovery, I'm proud of you, honey. It goes a long way to really be proud of your son like that. It's like,
That's awesome.
I didn't hear that all the time, validation.
You needed that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what, my daughter, when I got out, I asked her, honey, what's one thing you wished? And she goes, I wished when you went to prison that you would change. And I changed the day I knew I went in. When the cops came to my door that day. Go figure. What are the chances? That's how I know something's greater than me.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that something?
It's awesome. So you get out, where do you go?
So, we're not going back to New Britain. So,
Okay.
It's time for a change, right? So they say trust the process. What I do, I trusted the process with how prison transitions you from leaving there. And since I had nowhere to go, I was homeless again. So I'm leaving with just the white tee and the sweatpants that my boy gave me. So I got state issued gear, but hey, it's not tans.
Yep.
I go to CPA here in Hartford.
Okay.
So that's Connected Partners in Action. So it's a 90-day program for people to try to transition in their life, get their shit together. Well, I was already mentally focused. So what can I do to get my shit together? I asked questions. So as soon as I got there, what can I do? Who can I see? Who can I network with? And that's what I did. And I just, resource after resource after resources. I can't say enough how much resources are out there if you really look and make the phone calls. You can't just say, oh, okay, I got this number.
Yep.
But CPA gave me the ground game. So I got out on a Friday, April 21st. My PO suggested maybe I should go down to CCAR. So he saw my list of my previous transactions with the DOC and the probation department. I've been on probation since 2010, so violation after violation after violation. Mm-hmm. I did complete one, 2010 to 2015. I don't know how. That's because that destruction didn't fully come in yet.
Yeah.
So, so CPA and probation on Monday, the following Monday. So, and I came straight to CCAR. Didn't know what to expect, but the all recovery meetings were nice. I could relate to these people, and a lot of them, people are coming out of prison. Mm-hmm. There's recovery coaches. I'm like, oh, recovery coaches, cool. All right. So I get assigned a recovery coach. I think a few weeks to a month after I was there. But I went to CCAR religiously every single day for about 3 months.
That's awesome.
So I didn't go to work right away because I already knew if I went to work,
it was over.
Thank you.
Yep. What a job, car, girl, drunk.
Cocaine on the weekends?
Yeah.
To start? Jeez, go figure that.
Right?
No, like I said, the fourth time was a charm.
Yes.
I think I learned enough life lessons. Let's try something called recovery.
Are you ready to make a difference in the lives of others? If so, then you should consider becoming a recovery coach. Recovery coaches are trained to help people in recovery, seeking recovery, or struggling with addiction. They provide support, guidance, and resources to help people on their recovery journey. CCAR Training is the leading provider of recovery coach training programs. Our programs are designed to teach you the skills and knowledge, what we call the science, while giving you an understanding of your own art needed to be a successful recovery coach. We offer a variety of training options, most offered online. If you're interested in becoming a recovery coach or just learning more, I encourage you to visit our website or contact us today. We would be happy to answer any questions you have and help you get started on your journey to becoming a recovery coach. We hope you'll visit us at www.addictionrecoverytraining.org to learn more.
There's so many different ways to recover, and I love it. There's no excuses. Oh, I went to this meeting, I don't like it. Did you try this? Did you try that? That means you didn't want it. Mm-hmm. And that was me before. Didn't want it. Every time I got out on probation, I had to go to Wheeler Clinic, or I had to go to a Faro House or some treatment center.
Yep.
And do IOP or whatever whatever I would put the front on to try to, when I did the intake, yep. I'm not that bad. Sir, you need some intensive outpatient. And I mean intensive.
Yep.
And I did that just to appease the system.
Yes.
As soon as I left the meeting, I'm going out drinking.
Yeah.
Going out sniffing. I know I had 3 days before my next test.
Yep.
That's when it's out my system.
Yep.
I'm good to go.
This story just came up in my head, but it's so funny how you know how to work the system. So the second time I was in prison, I'm doing an intake. They call me on. The guy knows me because I just did an intake over there a couple months ago. And he's like, all right. He goes, and he's looking at me. And he's like, all right, so how often do you use drugs? And I was like, I'd never used drugs ever in my entire life. And he's like, excuse me? Because I know if I tell him I've done anything at all, they're going to put your score level up to whatever, and you're going to have to do a program in prison. And I'm like, dude, I'm just trying to get a job and sweep the halls for the next 6 months, right? And that it keeps going on. And then he's like, do you ever drink alcohol? I was like, no, never even had a sip of alcohol in my entire life. He goes, and he's like, what's those track marks in your arm? I was like, I gave blood before I came in,
Addict thinking, real quick.
And by the end of it, he's pissed. You know what I mean? He's pissed. And they put my level at a 2 instead of a 0 because even though I lied, he put down whatever. And I remember getting to the thing, and they call me in to do the thing. They're like, all right, yeah, you've been selected for tier 4. And I'm like, how?
Impossible.
And I'm like, I thought I kind of the system, but they're like, no, he uses drugs. Put him in the program, check, And but because of that, I ended up in a low level facility. Because
tier 2.
Yep, that did tier 2 or tier 4. I can't remember which one. But because of that, I was able to work the system to get to a better, less guarded jail or whatever they call that. A low-level security. Yeah. So we were literally outside all the time.
Level 2, level 3.
You could literally walk outside. I swear to God. Stuff like that. But yeah, dude, so I know that you do a lot of really cool stuff now. Tell me about some of the really cool stuff that you're involved with. I'd love to hear about it.
Awesome. Thanks for asking. Besides being engaged with CCAR, it's everywhere I go. I'm always CCAR'd up. My gear, I got my shirt behind me. Mm-hmm. My whole car has got CCAR gear. I got the keychain on me, the wristband. I like to promote what I know works.
Yep.
And being that helping hand, because I wish I could have been more helped with, or at least somebody reached out a little deeper. Mm-hmm. When I was in active addiction, when I was on that park bench. And so I started something in January.
Okay.
So as I'm doing CCAR, one day, I think it was the week after New Year's. It was the 12th or 13th of January. And I'm just sitting there watching something on TV. And I don't get much TV time. But when I do, I like to watch the news. And I said, you know what? I'm scrolling through on YouTube. And then I hear I think it's David Goggins.
Okay.
David Goggins, that's my guy, man. And Jocko.
Yep.
He's cool. And I like this guy, Shi-Heng Yi. He's a Buddhist motivational speaker and all that. E.T. too. And I said, let me try this. Maybe the local people I know in Connecticut, Hartford, New Britain, New Haven, Meriden, you know, somebody will get this message. That was like God working through me saying, all right, do something. Big Joe Recovery. Not just because I'm a big guy, but it's about the big picture, the big you. It started with me, and I want to help the next person, so go to you. And that's finding your path, creating your own journey. Mm-hmm. So I do a lot of motivational and inspirational clips. You know, I do the shorts on YouTube. Yep. And I just, something comes in my head, something I've been through, I put it out there. But I also do a lot of coaching on there as well. And we got a lot of CCAR guys on there. And I'm hoping to have you on soon, too. We talked about it. So
yeah, I would absolutely love to come on anytime.
That'd be great. And it's just spreading the message, man. We all have something in common. Mm-hmm. What brought us to recovery?
Yep.
Well, our lives were unmanageable, right?
Mm-hmm.
Shit. Our lives were shit. My life was shit. I got this new way to live, and I have a little girl that loves me on this side of the fence. I would never give this up for anything. Mm-hmm. I wish I found this earlier, but I think with my higher power, he had to put me through what I went through to be able to do what I do now.
Yep.
Makes sense, right?
Absolutely.
So with the Big Joe Recovery, I just go out there and make videos, post them. Coming up on my 200th video, which will be coming out next week.
Nice.
So
your greatest downfall became your greatest asset.
Mind blown. Where's the mic at?
Yep.
Drop that thing. Yeah, TJ. And if one of my videos can just save somebody for that day because they needed to hear it, I did my job.
Yes.
I did my job.
Yep.
You know, everywhere I go, like I said, living in integrity. Go to Aldi supermarket. Mm-hmm. There's a guy asking to return my cart. Of course, because they got the 25 cents you got to put in.
Yeah.
You look like you're struggling, bro. How you doing today? Just saying hi. A little smile. Get somebody through the day. Mm-hmm. It works, man. Sometimes that's all we need.
Yep.
Talk. Ask those good questions.
Yep.
You never know what you're going to learn about somebody. You might find out he's a cousin of yours or something.
Yeah.
You never know. You see how our transformations of our bodies look. Mm-hmm. I was 90 pounds less than this when I went to prison. Go figure. I was 215. So I lost a couple pounds since I've been out, and I've been back in the gym.
Nice.
8 dimensions of wellness. That's what I love. You know, emotional, mental, physical, financial. To live life as a constructive member of society.
Yeah.
If that we want to put it that way.
You want to give to your community and not take from it.
Because I took for so long.
Yep.
It was me, self-centered.
Yep.
No. Yes, my recovery is a little selfish. It has to be. I do something every day different in my recovery. That keeps it fresh for me. That works for me. Mm-hmm. Might not work for you. Like I said, some people, I was talking with Barry the other day, and he's like, you eventually after you'll find like one solid pathway. I think I'm always going to be involved with all these pathways. Maybe not as in depth with all of them, but I embrace them because I know they work. Mm-hmm. It works if you work it, right? You heard that a few times?
Yep.
It does work if you work it. And I just keep showing up for this life in recovery. It gets better every day. It really does. If that's one thing I could say to somebody, patience. Mm-hmm. My quote, I love quotes. The journal I have here has a daily quote with the 3 things I'm grateful for and 3 things that'll make the day great today. My quote is persistency, consistency, positivity. You can do whatever you put your mind to.
I love it, dude.
For those 3 things, you're good.
Yeah. That's so awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you very much, dude.
Appreciate it, TJ.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much for coming on. And, I'm very, very happy that I got to hear some of your story today.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. You're the man.
You know,
thank you.
Keep coming, man.
Yeah.
You know, you got to want it.
Yep.
That's what it boils down to.
I appreciate you.
Thanks again. Appreciate
Absolutely.
you.